Well, I think we got a pretty good deal on this one. Hopefully. This is a 2010 Polaris Sportsman 550. And it looks to be in pretty good condition. This is EFI, power steering. Really nice unit. These typically go for $4,000 in my area in running condition. We got this thing for $14,000. But it doesn't run. The seller said that he was selling it off for his uncle. His uncle recently passed away, so he was just selling his belongings. He doesn't know anything about it, doesn't know the last time it ran. All he knows was that it was registered for 2026, and typically in Wisconsin, a registration sticker is good for 2 years. So the last time it ran was probably 2024, so not too long ago. But right now, he said you can turn the key, it turns over, but will not fire up. So he said it could be something majorly wrong with it. It could be something easy. And he said that's why it's priced the way it's priced. So we kind of took a gamble on this one, buying it for $1,400. But I think you could part it out for that price. I mean, that's a pretty decent price for 2010. And like I said, the plastics are all really nice. Tires are basically brand new. Seat's not ripped. Let's see how many miles are on it. You can hear the fuel pump coming on. Let's see, we're on trip 3,889 miles. So quite a few miles, but not like crazy high. As you can see, neutral light pops up, and it will just crank and crank and crank. And that little symbol over there comes up. It looks kind of like a warning light. It might be the oil light. It's hard to tell. But you can crank this thing and crank it and crank it and crank it. It won't even like backfire or puff over. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. You know, I don't know if it has compression, don't know if it has spark. Kind of just bought this thing sight unseen. So this one's going to be a complete mystery. But we're hoping to get this one up, running, and driving by the end of the video. So let's get this one off the trailer, start digging into it. Alright, just testing out the winch. We've got the winch hooked up to the trailer. Let's see if that works. That works pretty well. Alright, little walk around. Let's check it out. See if the axles are nice and tight. It's not too rusty in there. It's actually in really pretty decent condition. There's the clutch belt right there. Let's see what's in here. Ooh, so they had a new thing like that. So I wonder if they're trying to diagnose this thing for a while. Looks like a new engine switch there. Well, that's interesting. I think there's a toolkit in here too. Yep, little toolkit. All right, we got this machine in the garage. Let's start looking at it. So, you turn the key, try cranking it again. Nothing at all. Play with the kill switch here. You know, maybe it's just something with the kill switch. Let's see. Nothing at all. Let's check the oil next. Kind of go from there. So oil is going to be down here. Let's see if there's anything in here. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, let's see if this guy's filled up all the way. It's on the lower side. Wonder if this thing was burning oil. Right between high and low. So probably need to do an oil change on it. It's kind of a sweet spot where you need to be for it to open. Feel it. There we go. This whole thing can come off. Alright, let's see what we're dealing with here. We have fuses, that's good. We can check those. Check the coolant out first. Yeah, she's topped off. Let's rotate the engine over and see if it pukes out any coolant. Coolant shoots out of here while rotating the engine over. We know that there's probably most likely a head gasket problem. That would mean air is getting inside the coolant lines from the engine and compression is just pushing that coolant out. So let's see. Nope. That would be shooting everywhere if we had an issue. So I don't think we have a head gasket issue, which is good. All right, taking a look at the fuses here, we have ECM relay, fan relay, EFI relay, bumper lights relay, spare, wires, accessories, power steering, unswitched drive lights, EFI. So let's just see what's going on. I don't think these are going to be bad, but we can just check them, make sure. And what we're going to do is just take them out and inspect them. The ECM relay is right here. So drive is a 20 amp one. That looks good. The 10 amp one is, there's a 30 amp. That's power steering. I don't think that would cause it not to run at all. That looks good. That's the only one that was messed with, it looks like. We're just gonna go one by one and take these out. Yeah, they're all looking good. But it's good to check them anyway. Yeah, those all look good. Let's take a look at the battery here. Make sure those are all tight, connections are all tight. Looks good. Nothing wrong with the battery. Let's take the seat off of here. Pulls right out. Interesting. So we've got our air filter up there, it looks like. We've got our clutch here. Here's our coil wire. Making sure everything looks good here. This is kind of flopping here. Alright, I think these panels can come off right here. We can get to things a little easier. So easy access to the plug here. That's way down there. Alright, let's get this air filter out of here. See what's in here. Looks pretty good. It's got the sleeve on it, which is nice. Alright. Airbox doesn't look horrible. I mean, it looks like a pretty clean machine. I wonder what the heck happened here. Alright, we're gonna siphon out a little gas. Thing's completely filled up. Maybe there's water in the gas. Take a look. Looks brand new to me. I don't see any water at all. I was hoping it would be something simple, but so far, it's not looking good. Alright, so gas looks good. Well, let's get the spark plug out. Test for spark. Does this come out of here? Not much wire exposed on that. We'll snip back a little bit and see if we have spark. That looks better. I like to just put a little WD-40, otherwise that wire is really hard to get back in there. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's try to get that plug out of there. Case scenario. We have no carb to contend with, so that's kind of nice. Uh-oh. Looks like a brand new plug. That's not a good sign. Somebody was trying to fix it up. Brand new BKR5E plug. Oh boy. So somebody was trying to fix it and they couldn't. Moment of truth here. Do we get spark? Alright, turn her on. Alright, here we go. Whoa. Shot flames right at me. Oh, that was bad. I think it ignited the gas that was in there. Well, we're going to take this off for a sec. Almost set my face on fire there. Probably shouldn't put the spark plug right where the gas is coming out of the cylinder there. Alright, let's take the plug off and clear the cylinder out of any gas that was in there. Oh, I was blowing a ton of gas out. So, we are going to ground it to the other side of the engine. I hope you guys can see that. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, really good spark. No wonder that ignited the gas. That's crazy good spark. So we have spark, and we're definitely getting gas to the cylinder. Might almost be too much. It's just puffing out the gas. Check this out. So watch the gas spray out of here. That's all gas coming out. But we confirmed we have spark. So let's do a compression test, see what we get. Alright, so it looks like normal compression for a Polaris 550 from 2010. That's going to be 70 to 90 psi. Yeah, we definitely have low compression. We're at 45 psi. Nope. Well, we found the problem. Low compression. But now we have to ask ourselves, why is it low compression? So let's throw some oil down the cylinder and see if the rings are bad. So it definitely could be rings. We saw that the oil was a little bit low, so it might be burning off a bunch of oil. And maybe the rings are just either stuck completely closed from sitting, or they're just really, really worn out. This is some Marvel Mystery Oil going in. We're gonna try to free up the rings if they are stuck with this stuff. And we also want to check and see if it is the rings. So this will tell us. If the compression shoots way up, we know it has something to do with the rings. If it stays the same, it's probably going to be valves. And these are known for having issues with the cam. So that's definitely a possibility. We might have to do this a couple times. Let's see. All right, here we go. Jumped up a little bit. I don't think enough to make a difference. We're at 55. Let's try it one more time. We'll add a little bit more oil. Dumped a bunch down there. This should tell us right away here. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we get. Alright, we're at 70. So we need 70 to 90 to run. Maybe rings are a little stuck. So what we're gonna do is put the plug back in, and we're gonna turn this thing over, try to start it up, and see if it gained enough compression to fire. I doubt it, but we'll see. Sometimes you get lucky. Get this in. Give it a good cranking. All right, we've got oil down the cylinder. We saw that the compression shot up to 70 psi, which in the manual says you need 70 to 90 psi to have this thing run. We were at 50 before, so it shot up 20 psi. Let's see if that's enough to start it at least for a little bit. Hopefully loosen up those rings or free something up. That was backfiring pretty good. We're gonna try it one more time. It wanted to go, but just because it's backfiring, I'm guessing the intake valves are slightly open when they should be fully closed on the compression stroke. So what's happening is fuel shooting out of the intake, and it's igniting at the wrong time. So it's igniting that fuel and it makes it backfire. Plenty of oil in there. Plug back in. Doesn't want to go. So we can't gain enough compression to fire this thing up. It's got to be valves. Nope. All right. So I'm kind of leaning towards tight intake valves at this point, just because we hear the back firing out of the intake. Let's try to get the plastics off here and the air box so we can get to the valve cover. Well, that's gonna be fun to get back in. All right. So we can actually check and see if our fuel injector is working. It looks like it's missing a bolt there. I don't know. So our fuel injector is right there. I think that is working. Pretty sure. I don't know how you get to the bolts there. Check that. We can take this guy off. And then we can try to get those bolts. You see the bolts right underneath the frame there? And this whole unit can pull out. Alright, so here's the injector. Looks to be in pretty good condition. So this is just going to spray out a mist as you turn the engine over. Let's see if it's doing that. See what it does here. It's definitely a mist. It looks like a pretty heavy mist though, doesn't it? Alright, so it looks like the injector is spraying quite a bit of fuel. I'm kind of thinking maybe the engine's flooding out. So what we're gonna do is take the gas line off here, so no gas is going to it, and then manually put gas down the cylinder and just see if it starts up, because I think it might be flooding out. All right, we're gonna throw our plug back in. We've got the gas line disconnected, going to the container there, so it's just gonna pour gas out into the container, but it won't be shooting gas into the cylinder. See if she fires up. That line's kinked too, I just noticed. Look at that. That should not be like that. Where does that lead? Yeah, I just tried to blow through this line. That's completely clogged. And that goes down. Let's see. Down right to there. So is that a case breather? Oh, that's interesting. We're gonna cut that so the air can escape there, because that's not breathing at all then. Down there. I could hear pressure release when I cut that. Let's see if she fires up. Trying. Sounded like it wanted to go there for a sec. Keep on going with it. That was the closest we got so far. They almost fired up. The heck? That is bizarre. Now it's running. It's even idling. What the heck? Well, I don't know what we fixed. The only thing we did was cut that line off right here. Maybe something was plugged up right there. Idling good. That is really weird. See if it revs out here. Comes right back down to idle. Huh. Well, I think we fixed it. We're gonna let this idle for a bit, but yeah, sounds pretty good. We'll have to check compression again and see if it went up. No smoke either. Wow. Alright, now we'll have enough compression to fire back up. Let's see. Watch, it only fires up when you push the throttle a very small amount. That fired up without the throttle there. Huh. And maybe it needs that air box back on to have the right fuel mixture. So maybe that's why it's not firing up without the throttle. Looking down in here, there's two contacts right in here. I don't believe those should be touching, and they kind of look like they are. So I wonder if we put it like right there, if we'd be good. Let's try holding it open like that. So we'll hold it right there. Still was a lot more throttle to fire up. Let's see. was all the way touching and it fired up. So I don't think that's the problem. We're gonna go check compression again, see where we're at. Yeah, look at the plug now. Completely black. Throttle open, crank this thing over. Yeah. Now we're at 50, 60, 70, 85 PSI. So somehow we gain compression. Now we're perfect. That's right where we should be. This is just very interesting. All right, we're gonna go put the air box back on and see if it starts a little easier, because right now you still have to give it a little bit of throttle to make this thing start. And it shouldn't do that. It should just fire right up without having to give it throttle. No, I'm still starting pretty hard. And I see a code that came up now. Let's see. 520230. We're gonna look that up. This is flashing. All right, we just researched this code. So the code 52023031 is for power steering. And a lot of people said that if you have a lower battery, which I think we kind of do now, but now that we try to jump this thing so many times, that can sometimes flash and cause power steering not to work, which it feels like it's not working right now. So maybe that will eventually turn off and correct itself once the battery charges up. So we're gonna leave that for now. I don't think that has anything to do with starting up the machine. So unfortunately, I don't think that was the issue. All right, so I think what we're gonna do is try to take out this T-map sensor right here. So this is responsible for measuring pressure and temperature in this manifold here. And then it relays that to the ECU, which tells the injector how much fuel to spray out. And if that's not working right, you're gonna have stumbling, bad idle, hard starting. So what we can do is take some cleaner and spray that off. I'll show you guys how to take this out. I don't know if it's supposed to or not, but here's the plate holding it on. Take that off right away. And we can disconnect the wiring part of it here. And this should pull right out. Don't want to damage that. And that's what we're looking at right there. There's the sensor. That looks pretty dirty too. So we're just gonna spray that off in there. Get that cleaned up. All right, we've got some of this stuff, mass airflow sensor cleaner. This stuff evaporates in a second. It's safe for plastic. So that's why we're using that. It's very sensitive to wires and coatings and stuff like that. So it should work just fine. So we're gonna spray that. Just kind of clean that off. You can see how dirty that was. You can see it's nice and clean now. Install it without damaging it. Get that plug back in. See if that makes a difference for us. All right, let's see what happens. Nothing. Nope. Well, cleaning that sensor didn't make a difference. I'm sure it helps it in the long run, but Yeah, that wasn't our hard starting issue. So we're gonna take a look at the intake valves. I'm guessing those are just a little bit tight. All right, let's try to get this valve cover off. So this whole unit, this whole bar can come out for easy access. So we can try to get that out too. As you can see, the valve cover can't come off because of that bar. Just gonna zip these out quick. 8mm bolts holding that on. Got the other two bolts out from the other side. Now this should come off of here. I don't think you have to take the whole thing off. Trying not to get all the dirt in there. Oh, there we go. There's definitely oil going to it. Take a look here. Cam chain's nice and tight. Those valves are loose. You can hear it clicking right there. So let's try to find top dead center, and then we can adjust these intake valves. They're the easy adjust kind, you don't have to shim it at least. It looks like there's a little bolt we can access the flywheel from, so we can see if we're at top dead center. Alright, so that angle is not very good. I can't see into that flywheel area at all. So what we're gonna do, instead of looking at the flywheel for top dead center, is we stuck a rod down the spark plug hole, and we're gonna see when this is at the highest point, and that will tell us when we're at top dead center. Alright, we're rotating cam here. So you can see it's going down. I want it to come back up. There we go. It's coming back up right there. Still coming up. Still coming up. Still coming up. Still coming up just a little bit. I think it stopped right there. And you'll see it come back down here. Right there. So we are top dead center there. And the valves, the clearance is all tight right there, so we are not at the compression stroke. So we're going to rotate this thing over again. 360. So it's going back down. And come back up. So right when that stops coming back up, that's going to be top dead center. Right there. Yep, it just started going back down. We're going to reverse this. Okay, it's going back down here. Right there. And those valves are open on the exhaust. You can hear them click. Hear that? Let's check the intake. The intake is right up here. Those are tight. So those aren't moving at all. So just as we suspected, intake valves are tight. We're gonna get a feeler gauge in there just to make sure there's no clearance, but these are both supposed to be at 0.06 of an inch, the intake and the exhaust. Oh, she's tight. That one's tight. That one's not. Okay. So that one has some clearance there. Let's see what that one's at. But this one's really tight. Let's see if we're at 6 on that one. Alright. Yeah, that one's good. Loosen that up. that out. Yeah, she's tight. Take her pliers and right there. Okay. Perfect. Yep, those are good. Cool. So right down here. Yep, good. Perfect. So our clearances are now set to 6/1000ths of an inch. Hear them clicking now? All right, before we go ahead and put the air box back on and have to maybe take it back out, we're gonna attempt to fire it up and see if it starts without giving it throttle. That will tell us that it's fixed. Let's see what happens. Well, it was the valves. Starts up now without having to give it throttle. Yep, she's fixed. All right, let's see. Throttle open here. Here we go. Yeah, that's a little better. 170. Holy cow. So we were actually really low compression. All right, now that this thing's fixed, let's put everything back on it and take it for the first test drive. See if anything else pops up that could be wrong with it. Now it's ran for a little bit. Let's see what the oil level is at. The oil didn't look too bad, so we might just top it off for now until after the first ride. Yeah, it doesn't, it's pretty clear. She's a little low though. Right to the top level there. All right, coming down to the front diff. Just want to make sure there's fluid in there before we take it for the first ride. Don't want to wreck the diff here. Let's see if we can budge this free. There we go. So oil should pour out of here or be right up to the threads. Let's see what we get. Yep, you see it just pouring out. So that was topped off. The front diff check is way in there, you can see it. So I can't film it. There's really no good position to film it because I gotta get my hand way back there. So we'll get that out and see if any fluid's in there. Well, front diff checks out. Fluid was right up to the thread marks, so we are all set for the first ride. I'm really hoping the transmission's good. we've got the four-wheeler on the back here. We're heading out to my new land here I just bought, and we have a bit of a situation. So there has been somebody building like a fort on the land. I don't know if it's kids, adults, or what, but every day I go out, the fort keeps on getting bigger, and it's private property. It's way back here, so I don't know how they're getting pallets and stuff back to this fort. The neighbors don't know anything about it. There's really no kids that live around here, so it should be pretty interesting to see what we find. We brought the trail cam with, just in case. We're gonna set that up and see what's going on. Every time I come out, I don't see anybody out here, but when I come back in the morning or in the afternoon, the fort has been built up. So somebody must be building it at night or something. So we'll see what's going on. It's just really odd. Alright, made it back here. Here it is. See if they've got a roof up here. Walk in here. Little pier going out to the water. Some benches in here. I mean, what the heck? There's a table over here too. Big rock on the table. So someone's back here doing something. There's a little like teepee area. Looks like this might be where they sleep. Interesting. What is that for? But yeah, kind of creepy. So, the cops were called. They are investigating it. but they said to put up a trail cam. We might just put one on this tree here, facing the fort. I'm sure they're in here somewhere. You can see all the, I mean, they've walked this a bunch of times. There's the roof. I mean, they even put bark. Let's go out on the dock here. I can't believe none of the neighbors have seen anything. Very interesting. So they brought in this wood. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? It's a nice little fort. Whoever built it. Well, we got the camera way up there, pointing directly towards this, so now we wait and see. Wow, this thing's running great. No issues at all. Brakes both work. 4x4 works. Low, high, neutral, park works. So this one's all fixed up. Not too bad. I'm liking it a lot. And the winch works too, so. Yeah, not too bad for 1,400 bucks. So for 1,400 bucks, I think we did pretty good on this one. Like I said, in my area, these typically go for like 4,000, so I think we got a pretty good deal. And the fix on it was pretty easy, just an intake valve that was tight, and that line that was plugged coming from the engine breather. It's running perfect now. So I will keep you guys updated on the land situation. I'm hoping it's just some kid messing around making a fort back there. But we will find out pretty soon here. We've got the camera set up. I'm hoping to get a picture tonight of whoever's out there trespassing. It should be interesting. But hope you guys enjoyed the video on the 2010 Sportsman 550. Getting this thing for 1,400 bucks, diagnosing it, doing the first start and the first ride. This one turned out pretty good. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.